After so many patches since the launch of Early Access, let's see if we can still cheese the final boss. Well, looks like we can. Hello gamers, the developer of No Rest for the Wicked has been nerfing overpowered builds left, right and center, but nothing can stop me from presenting you with new builds that will allow you to have more fun in the game. I figure what we need is a build that will likely live through early access and survive into the full release of the game. So today, I will give you another build that doesn't rely on any exploit in the game, but still can one-shot any mob enemies and trivialize all boss fights. All you need to do is keep throwing a frozen axe, just like Kratos, and I call it God of War. Now, without further ado, let's get started. First of all, I want to introduce the main damage dealer of this build, the weapon rune, Ice Throw. You can easily get it from weapons dropped from Serum Crucible. Simply extract it when you see it. This rune grants you the ability to throw your weapon frozen into enemy and return to your hand. It deals 2 ice elemental attacks and scales with your weapon damage. So the idea is to find a heavy hitting weapon, increase its damage as high as possible and slap this rune onto it. This brings us to the weapon. We're looking for any level 3 two-handed weapon. The one I'm using is Pound of Cadavers, a two-handed great hammer. Alternatively, you can also use Sunbeam, the two-handed curved greatsword, or Freehide, the two-handed greatsword. Both can be crafted. Once you have leveled Fillmore the Smithy to level 3, you will be able to purchase the blueprint for Freehide from him, and then go to the anvil next to him and craft the weapon. In early games, you can of course simply use the Claymore and gradually fully upgrade it to level 3. As to the affixes on the weapon, we will be looking for gain certain percentage focus on damage dealt. We will be using rune attack exclusively, so focus is an important resource to us. Additionally, we also want damage dealt increased by certain percentage. The rest of affixes won't matter, just make sure the negative affix is not reducing our focus or damage. You can also infuse a chipped spike onto it to increase the damage even further. Additionally, we also need a secondary weapon for buffs. It can be any one-handed weapon, and we will be attaching the damage surge rune onto it. The affixes on this weapon won't matter as we are only using it for damage buff. Now, for the armors, again, we are mainly looking for focus gain affixes. On the helmet, I have focus gain increased by 24%. On the chest, I have focus gain increased by 28%. On the legs, I have focus gain increased by 21%. And finally on gloves, we can get focus regeneration. In my previous video, I explained how to farm gear and get affixes we need. If you need a refresher, be sure to check it out. Now, to put the cherry on top, we will be using the rings that boost base damage, or rune attack damage. That can be the rune ring or the fierce ring. The best combination for me is 2 rune rings giving 25% bonus damage to the rune attacks each, and 1 fierce ring that increases 20% damage dealt. Please know the combination can be different for you based on the number on the affixes you roll, but it shouldn't be too big of a difference. These rings will be randomly dropped from the Crucible before the Echo Knight. Alternatively, you can also buy them from the merchant Greenwich. Make sure you check his inventory each time you're in town. And finally, on consumables, I recommend apple pie for the food. It gives additional 100 focus for 10 minutes. We also need blade oil to boost the damage for boss fights. Large vial of focus will also be helpful for emergencies. They can both be purchased from Marcos the Merchant, and they are quite cheap as well. Now, with that out of the way, let's talk about the character stats allocation. The mandatory stats are Strength and Faith due to my weapon of choice. It scales with Strength and Faith at the same time, so I want them as high as possible to boost damage. In this build, I have them both at 36. The next important stat is Health. The softer cap for health is 21 at the moment. We don't need more as we won't be getting hit too much. As to Stamina, I put it at 10, since this build is exclusively using rune attack instead of weapon attack, so we won't be needing too much stamina to wield heavy weapons. But if you're leveling up a character from scratch, I recommend you to bring it above 15 and higher for more comfort. I also brought the equip load to 14 to make sure our weight class is sitting comfortably at normal. The rest of the stats will be sitting at default, we don't need them. Okay, that's the build. Let's try it against some monsters. We're dealing 316 a hit, mobs are dead before the axe even come back. The biggest enemy in Siren Crucible also get one shot. Now, let's take a look how to use it against bosses. The buff cycle is not mandatory, but I'll explain how to maximize it. Hit an upper pie for focus. Swap the secondary weapon to use damage surge. Drink a large vial of focus to top up on focus. And finally, use blade oil for another 25% damage boost. Now, we are ready to go. Now there you have it. The build makes you fight like Kratos from God of War. That's all for the video. I hope you find it useful. Please leave a like and subscribe for more content gaming. Thanks for watching and see you next time.